We out here in my backyard. We out here in my backyard, filling up the hot tub. I've been traveling a lot for expos, and I did a class recently. I just want to talk to you guys real quick. I can't stress this enough for you guys. Get good at something, man. Get great at one thing. And even when you think it's not enough, and maybe you need to search elsewhere, or maybe you need to do something else, maybe you need to add something to what you're already doing, don't do it. Take a step back, do something else. Stop letting your thoughts mess with you, and just get better at that one thing you're doing. As long as there's enough people in that are interested in what you're becoming great at, that's all that really matters. You can't dictate when it's going to be successful, when it's going to get the attention you think it deserves. I'm sure you guys have seen like instances of like YouTube channels, for example, that have been around for 2, 3 years, and then boom, all of a sudden, 1 million subscribers. It pops. It finally takes off, and it was something. That's all it takes. It was one thing that it took might have took you 3 years to finally add to your arsenal and discover that made your channel what you thought it had the potential to be. It's the same thing with a skill set. It's the same thing with an expertise. It's the same thing with a product that you're trying to develop to be great. Like the deeper that you dig, you know, the more solid that thing becomes. And so I know it's so easy in this world with social media and stuff to get distracted, man. Stay focused. I'm not telling you to stay in your own lane. I'm saying stay focused on the thing that you have discovered that people naturally say you're gifted at, or naturally ask you questions about, and then just laser focus on that and dig deep. You know what I'm saying? Like become great at that thing. Especially if there's no examples of people who are great at that thing, dig deep. One of the things that I regret early on in my life is just being everywhere, And I think that it took, not that I regret it, because it took that for me in order to figure out exactly what I needed to do. But hopefully, you guys are listening and leveraging, my wisdom, my experiences, and not making so much, not having to go through the the trenches so much to discover what took me a long time to discover. Leverage other people's thoughts, and then once you've mastered that one thing, man, evolve from there. Then you evolve, right? So let's say you become the best damn barber in your city, right? Once you've done that, figure out the business side and become the best at the business side in your city. And then from there, figure out how to scale and be the best at scaling whatever it is that you do, whether it's teaching what you do, whether it's creating a chain of the same business of what you do. But essentially, what you're doing is you're digging really, really deep, building a really strong foundation. Then you're starting to, cast out wider and build that way. For me, in the beginning, it was barbershops. It was scaling barbershops, and we're still doing it. It hasn't been our focus. And then from there was education and digging deep in education, and then, you know, building wider, and started at the academy, the course, the mentorship. Now I'm building wider, but I built really deep with education on YouTube first. And before all the education stuff, I built really deep with barbering and getting good at actually building a barber business. So essentially, you want to build deep, then wide. And while you're doing all this stuff, man, there could be, I'm gonna call them distractions, but they're not, right? To me, they're more so perspective, right? They're people from the outside offering their perspective, and it's easy to get mad at those people because they're not in your shoes, and those people could be your wife, your mom, your parents, your friends. It's easy to get mad at them, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get mad. I would embrace it and take it for what it is. Just know it's an outside perspective, and there's some gems. There's some truth to what they're saying. So you want to manage that. You want to have your entrepreneur hat and your entrepreneur goggles on when you're watching, when you're listening, when you're looking at people's perspectives from the outside. Where I see a lot of entrepreneurs get upset from outside perspectives. Don't. And so one of those outside perspectives was my wife for the longest time. Although it would get irritating to me, and I would want to say that she doesn't understand and all that stuff. Essentially, pretty like from now looking back at those times where my wife would try to like, hey, hold on, you're pushing yourself really hard, and we're starting to feel it, right? As your family's starting to be affected by it. Though that perspective was essential because it was also kind of like a budge saying, yo, you're gonna overwhelm yourself, you're gonna stress yourself out. You're gonna start to become unhappy, although this is something that you love doing, and you're gonna eventually be one of those people that get burned out. And so, you know, because I balanced it, and my dog's over here eating stuff she's not supposed to be eating. Because I listened to that, you know, it's a balance thing. My family definitely appreciated it, but also I didn't know this, but my body and my mind, my brain, bro, appreciated it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Share, you know, some of you guys could probably relate. You're probably on this journey, entrepreneur wise, and you know, I use barbering because that's the industry, that's the business that I'm in. But it's the same principles, you know, the same philosophy. I think with any industry, with any business. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Let's see if this jacuzzi filled up yet. Yeah, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Let's see what's going on.